Hello, my name is Benjamin Timothy Goby, and for my project, the BTG Interviews today I am interviewing
Ian Beattie from Belfast. You might know me best as Ser Meryn Trant in 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. I've been in a few other things. IMDb me.
Question 1. At what age did you start acting, and what inspired you to become an actor?
Now there you go. This is a very interesting one. When I was 7, a friend of my father's owned and ran a circus around Northern Ireland. We visited it one day, and my uncle Jim said, "What do you like best?" And I said, "I like the clowns." And he said, "Okay, would you like to be a clown?" I said, "Love to be." So he painted a face on me, put a wig on me, and I was, "Oh, great." Then he took me around to the back of the tent. The show was going on at the time. And he said, "You really want to be a clown?" And I said, "Yes." And he grabbed me and he threw me out in front of 2,000 people. A clown act was going on at the time, and the clowns looked at me and I looked at them, and we just ran with there. So I did that for 4 years. Every summer, every weekend, every day when it was close to Belfast. The season ran from March to September, which was pretty handy because as a kid, you weren't missing any school. I was the only boy that didn't have to run away to join the circus. I was brought there every week. And it stopped when I was 11 when I went to the big school, but I was well and truly bitten by the bug by then. And from that moment, probably from the age of 7 or 8, I always knew I wanted to be an actor.
Question 2. What has been your best and most challenging roles in your career?
There have been 2, and they have been actually quite similar in one sense. The last season of Game of Thrones, where the Meryn Trant's character was fully revealed in those last 2 episodes. So not only was he a coward, a thug, and a bully, but he was a person who took pleasure in the pain of children. That was a very, very difficult few days filming, and it was my last 3 days. We filmed episode 9 on the Tuesday. Episode 10, part 1, when I'm beating the children on the Wednesday, and then my death scene on the Thursday. And that was my last day on Game of Thrones. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes you'll film your death halfway through the season, and then you'll be back next week doing an earlier scene because of the production schedule. But it just turned out that my last 3 days were, in fact, my last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. They were very, very, very difficult episodes. Before then, yes, I played another role for BBC television, for BBC Northern Ireland, where I was playing a paedophile priest by the name of Father Brendan Smith. That was challenging in all sorts of ways, again, because of the subject material, a man who took pleasure in the pain of children. And 2, because I had to put on a substantial amount of weight in a very, very short time, because this was a real life person. And I wanted to get as close to him as possible so that people would recognize the person I was playing. So I had to put on something like 4.5 stone in 4 weeks, which wasn't easy. And then, of course, I was straight into Game of Thrones season 1 6 weeks later, so I had to lose as much of it as I could as well. The subject material, once again, was very, very disturbing. It's very, very tough, especially speaking as a father, when you have to play a monster who enjoys the pain of children. That was a very, very tough role. The other one that springs to mind probably would be playing Antigonus in Oliver Stone's Alexander, because it was a 5-month filming event. We were in 3 weeks of boot camp beforehand, and on the first day of boot camp, a stunt went wrong and I had to get 5 stitches inside my cheek, which wasn't much fun at the time. A lot of sword fighting. It was a tough shoot. Good fun, but it was a tough shoot.
Question 3. Which actors and actresses and other members in the film and television industry have you enjoyed working with before, and are there any you would like to work with in the future?
I couldn't begin. If I started listing the actors that I wanted to work with, we would be here this time tomorrow and would only be halfway through the list. I have had the great privilege of working with the likes of Julie Walters, who was absolutely wonderful. We did a television film about Mo Molan, and it was a pleasure working with her. I've worked with Val Kilmer, Angelina Jolie, Colin Farrell. I've worked with hundreds of actors. Everybody that I worked with on Game of Thrones was fantastic. Each one of them was just brilliant. Meeting Diana Rigg and sharing some scenes with Diana Rigg was something that I grew up watching Diana Rigg as Tracy Bond and as Emma Peel in the Avengers. So it was an absolute privilege working with her. There are so many actors that I have worked with. I got the chance a couple of years ago to work with Eric Roberts, Julia's brother, who is an astonishingly good actor. He was Oscar nominated for Runaway Train, and he really should have won it. He was a fantastic, wonderful actor, and a wonderful man as well. There are countless actors that I've worked with. I could probably, if I went back and started to think of the actors that I've worked with and that I've met. The actors that I want to work with, honestly, there are so many. Oh, Judi Dench, Helen Mirren, Robert Duvall. Oh no, look, I couldn't even begin. There's no such thing as a favourite actor. When you're an actor and you see another actor play a role and you think, because you're an actor, you know what that actor has gone through and you know how good that actor is in front of the camera and you know just how good that performance was, and you just think, wow. I was watching, just off the top of my head, I was watching a film a couple of nights ago on Sky, and it was Denzel Washington in John Q, where his son needs a heart and he takes hostages. And the performance was powerhouse. I mean, you know, there are so many actors, both here in the UK and Ron Perlman. Oh my goodness, how could you forget? You know, every minute I think about, I'll come up with another dozen names. There are so many people that are so good at their craft that I would kill to work with.
Ron Perlman, I really liked him in The Capture recently. Did you see that?
I have not seen it yet.
He's
I have
absolutely
recorded
brilliant
it all,
in it.
and I'm saving it for the week after next. I'm working next week, and I've got it down because I'm daddy daycare during the day, and I will be watching that while I'm doing the ironing and stuff.
He's the best fit in it.
He's a stunning,
Sorry to go off
stunning
record.
actor. Yeah, no, he's a stunning actor. I saw Ron Perlman. I mean, I've never, ever seen him put in a bad performance, and that's the test for me. Even if the picture's not that good, isn't he great in it? And that's Ron Perlman to me. He did a French film. I think Jean-Pierre Jeunet directed it, who later went on to direct Alien Resurrection, where Ron was in Alien Resurrection. So he'd worked with Jean-Pierre Jeunet before. And it was a French film called The City of Lost Children. It's quite difficult to get. Very difficult to get, actually. If you do decide to get it, please get it in the original French version, not the dubbed English version, because it's not nearly as good as the original French version with subtitles. And he's stunning in it. Stunning. Yeah, I'm going to end it at Ron Perlman because he's going to make me think of somebody else, and he's going to make me think of somebody else. I also had the pleasure a couple of years ago of working with both Charlie Hunnam and Rami Malek. And I was no idea how delighted I was that Rami won the Oscar for Bohemian Rhapsody, because he was perfect in it.
Yes.
He was perfect in it. I look forward to his next role. So there are, yeah, and I think he's going to be terrific as a Bond villain. I really think he's going to be.
It's out on my birthday, so I'm like,
oh man, I can't wait for that. But, you know, I could go on and on and on, both younger actors and older actors. I had the privilege of working with so many good ones on Game of Thrones. And I've had the privilege over the years of working with so many wonderful character actors. And sometimes you don't necessarily know their name, but you know everything. You know them when you see them in something. And those are the actors that I admire the most, that they do their job and they do it perfectly.
Question 4. Is there any role or character you would like to portray in the future, or is there any particular TV show or film you would like to work on?
Bond villain. Bond henchman. Not the villain. The sidekick.
Yeah.
That's the guy I want.
006, you remember?
Yep.
It was one of the Pierce Brosnan films.
It was Sean Bean was
played 006.
Yeah.
I'd quite like them to put that in the current franchise, because obviously they're now looking at Craig doing another film, which I think would make sense because the 60th anniversary is in 2022.
That's
so
right.
Why get a new Bond and a new script when the 60th's coming up?
Perhaps I had a discussion with a couple of friends of mine here in the business. One of them was my Comic-Con agent. The discussion was, who would you pick as the next James Bond? Now, you could pick 100 people. There's lots of people out there. Obviously, certain people. Tom Hiddleston for a while was mooted as the next guy. Who else was who was in McMafia? James, wonderful.
James Norton.
James Norton, fantastic.
Cillian Murphy's been on the lines. Yeah.
Cillian Murphy, and twice on Sundays. Cillian, I've only met Cillian a couple of times. He's the loveliest guy, but he's a fantastic actor, and he would make an ice cold Bond.
Yeah.
Just like the Martini.
Hopefully going on Peaky Blinders next year.
I hope he's under serious consideration, because he is genuinely a fantastic actor. He would bring a dimension to Bond. His Bond would be as definitive as I believe Daniel's Bond was. I believe Daniel completely changed the franchise. He just completely relit the franchise. And I think Cillian would do that as well.
Question 5. As an actor, how do you feel your career has adapted over the years, and which areas of acting do you feel you need to improve in?
You're always improving. You never stop. You never stop learning. And the day you stop learning, retire. Because there's never a day on set where you will not learn something. Watching other actors, you will learn something. Working with other actors, you will learn something. Sometimes it's a negative learning, but it leads to a positive learning. It leads to you'll never stop. You'll never have enough experience. My biggest beef with my own career is that a few times I've come very, very close to a role and I haven't got it. Maybe I've got down to the last 3 or the last 2. So it can be very, very frustrating. And you know it's on a quirk. This guy looks a bit younger. This guy's a bit taller. This guy just is a wee bit different, and that's what we want to go for. I can be different, but that's not the way it works. But you never stop learning, and the day you do, you should really give it up. You never stop learning, and you never stop learning from other actors that you work with and other directors. A director can say something to you that can just open your mind to whatever character you happen to be playing. He can just say, or she can just say, listen, try that. Just try that. And suddenly, something magical happens, something different happens. Your performance is better as a result of that. So I hope to never stop learning. I hope to get more roles. I think that although I've been very, very lucky with the roles I've got, I have been quite stifled by the fact that there are some roles that I thought I should have got that I didn't. And there isn't an actor in the world who won't say that to you. You know, there's always an actor say, I should have got that role and I would have been better. It's the actor's old story. But I genuinely believed it. There's a couple of roles I didn't get, and I saw the actor that did get the role, and I thought, you know what, fair enough. You did all right. But I don't mind whenever somebody who's of the similar caliber gets a role. You're happy enough. But far too many times in my career, I have seen actors get a role that I was up for, and it's just, no. But that's okay. That is a learning experience too. And as I say, you never stop learning. You never stop gaining experience. And it just adds and adds and adds to what will be your future performances. And I've had an awful lot of luck in the actors that I've worked with and watching them. And I've taken those lessons, and hopefully I will apply those lessons to my own career in the future.
Question 6. What advice would you have for myself or any other young person looking to get a job as an actor or any other job in the film and TV industry?
Quite simply, never, ever stop believing in yourself. I can't say that enough. Never take no for an answer. If they say no, they're wrong. And you keep going. Because sometimes it can be completely arbitrary. Sometimes it can be, that guy's 6 inches taller. That girl's got longer hair. It can be that arbitrary on getting a role. Never, ever stop believing in yourself. Kick the door down. If the door's not open, kick it down. If you can't, go on to the next door and kick it down. As an actor, if you're going for an audition, know the lines backwards. Be confident in what you're doing. So if you've got those lines in there and the director turns around to you in the audition and says, right, I want you to do it that way, that you've got the lines. You've got the lines. What he or she is looking to find out is, can you take direction? So absolutely be concrete. If you've got 2 days to prepare, Take the whole 2 days. Never stop until you know those lines backwards. But the first piece of advice, never stop believing in yourself. Behind the camera is a bit more difficult. It all starts with the training. It all starts with the training. If you're in training school, camera school, film school, whatever, that will be a way in. Take any job going. If there isn't a job and you want to be a director, get on your iPhone. Get a couple of mates. Make a short film on your iPhone and get it out there. There has never been a bigger technological opportunity for people to put themselves out there on social media. The technical advances, you can shoot a film on an iPhone. It's as simple as that. Do it. Don't sit waiting for the phone to ring. You make the phone ring. If you're not doing a job, create a job for yourself. Keep going and never, ever, ever stop believing in yourself. Best advice I can give.